Hey there, welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that's as fascinating as it is mysterious: the end times.
This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas.
Whether you've heard it in church, seen it in a movie, or had someone tell you, this is it, after every major news story. The end times is one of those topics that gets everyone talking. But what does Christianity actually say about it? Let's break it down, minus the hype and wild guesses. Let's start with the basics. The end times. In Christian belief, it's the period leading up to Jesus Christ's return. It's the culmination of history, the moment when everything gets sorted out. The Bible were a novel, the end times would be the final chapter where all the loose ends are tied up. But instead of a twist ending, it's a promise that good wins in the end. No cliffhangers here. The Bible describes events like the rise of the Antichrist, the rapture, and the ultimate battle between good and evil. Sounds dramatic? It is. But it's also filled with hope. It's about restoration, not just destruction. Jesus gave us a list of the signs to watch for things like wars, natural disasters, and widespread moral decline. Honestly, it's the kind of stuff you'd see trending on the news anyway. But here's the key. These signs aren't meant to scare us into panic mode. They're like road markers, reminding us to stay on track and not lose focus. Because let's be real, it's easy to get distracted. I mean, how many of us have lost hours arguing whether pineapple belongs on pizza? Priorities, people. Now, let's talk about some of the biggest misconceptions. First, predicting the date of the end times. You've seen it before. Someone claims they've cracked the code, and next thing you know, people are stockpiling canned beans. But Jesus made it clear, no one knows the day or the hour. Even if Jesus didn't drop a date, maybe we should chill with the predictions. Trust me, history hasn't been kind to those who got it wrong. Look at the Mayan calendar, or Y2K. It filled people with panic, and it didn't even happen. I believe in the verse that mentions that old men will dream dreams and young men will see visions. And there's this YouTuber that I watch. His name is Mark. I'm having trouble remembering his last name, but he recently had a dream that Christ would return on Christmas. I mean, it does say to use the hope of Jesus' return as a way to encourage yourself and encourage others to be hopeful. There is a split on people that believe whether or not we're going to go through tribulation and then get raptured, or get raptured before the tribulation. I personally believe in pre-tribulation rapture. There's many verses that people can point to, but the same goes for the other side. For me personally, I get a lot of hope from pre-tribulation rapture, and that's exactly what Jesus says his return is meant for. It's meant for hope, to get rid of all the evil in this world. So there's been multiple dreams that people have been having of that Jesus may return soon. Especially with all the craziness that happens around the world. I mean, South Korea right now is under martial law because I guess they're going through some crazy stuff over there. So right now, the world is crazy, and it shows that Jesus might come soon, and that's what brings me a lot of hope. I feel this is what can bring a lot of other people hope, knowing that there is a chance that he can come any single day, and that we can get raptured and start a new beginning, live 1,000 years, and then ultimately the earth will become the new heaven, the way things were supposed to be. That's super encouraging. I love it. I mean, how cool would it be if Jesus came back on Christmas? That would be awesome. The end times isn't about fear. It's all about hope. For Christians, it's a promise of a world where justice and peace finally win. So if the thought of the end times keeps you up at night, you might be focusing on the wrong part of the story. So how should we respond? What's the takeaway? Should we drop everything and move to the mountains? Probably not. It's less about obsessing over every headline and more about asking, am I living in a way that reflects faith, hope, and love? Spoiler, building bunkers isn't on the list. The end times is meant to inspire us to live better today, not to spend all our time worrying about tomorrow. Here's why the end times matter. It's not just about the end, it's about what comes after. For Christians, it's a promise of a restored world, no pain, no suffering, and a life in perfect relationship with God. Now, I'm not saying it'll solve all your problems tomorrow, but it does shift your perspective. When you know there's a bigger picture, the small stuff doesn't feel so overwhelming. Thanks for joining me on this dive into Christian end times. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or just curious, I hope this gave you some clarity, or at least something to think about. If you found this helpful, give it a like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone who's been asking the big questions. And let me know in the comments, what is one thing about the end times that fascinates you? Or what's a misconception you've heard that we can clear up together? Until next time, stay hopeful, stay grounded, and remember, when it comes to the end times, it's less about the end and more about the promise of a new beginning.